30 East Drive in Pontefract, UK, is widely cited as the site of Europe's most violent poltergeist. The semi-detached brick home became a focus of international attention in 1966 when the Pritchard family reported a series of increasingly aggressive anomalies. Reports included levitating furniture, loud acoustic banging, and green sludge foaming from taps. These events were not isolated occurrences, but localized within the specific perimeter of the house. The activity allegedly turned violent, with inhabitants reporting physical attacks. In one account, a girl was reportedly dragged up the stairs by her throat, establishing the phenomenon as a direct kinetic threat to those inside. While investigators traditionally look for unsettled spirits to explain these events, a discarnate entity does not easily account for the physical evidence left behind at the scene. Investigators at 30 East Drive have documented severe physiological reactions, including sudden nausea, brain swelling, and radiation burns. These are biological markers of environmental exposure rather than psychological distress. IT specialist Patrick Jackson approached the site not as a haunted house, but a problematic system. He applied information technology reverse engineering to the phenomenon, looking for programmatic routines. Jackson's analysis suggests the events at 30 East Drive are not supernatural, but a series of predictable, rules-based responses. Full-spectrum and infrared cameras inside the house did not capture ghosts. Instead, they recorded small metallic spheres operating within the hallways and rooms. Jackson identified these as Type 1 spheres, silver, tennis ball-sized objects that remain in close proximity to the ground and internal structures. Measurement of their movement reveals highly repetitive geometric flight paths. They appear to patrol the property using a fixed grid. These paths align with the automated search and sweep patterns utilized in modern drone technology. The objects appear to be executing a patrol algorithm. Under this model, the black monk reported by witnesses is interpreted as a low-resolution holographic projection or a perceptual byproduct generated by the spheres. This suggests the haunting is actually the result of physical, autonomous hardware operating on a program. If these are advanced drones, their behavior remains puzzling. There is no obvious reason for a sophisticated machine to spend its energy banging doors or moving household furniture. Jackson identifies this as a scarecrow protocol. The spheres use sudden, violent kinetic movement as a localized distraction to clear a specific area. This behavior correlates with the network's energy output, generating pulses of microwave and gamma radiation. By scaring occupants out of the immediate vicinity, the system keeps biological entities at a safe distance. The kinetic attacks force humans away from the radiation source. In this context, the poltergeist activity functions as an automated safety mechanism, deterring human presence near an invisible hazard. Shifting the focus from behavior to telemetry requires measurable signals that connect the house to a broader network. Stanford University professor Dr. Gary Nolan has called for an investigation into Jackson's theory following reports of specific signal detections at the site. This analysis shows a consistent spike at 1.6 GHz, appearing only when activity in the house begins. The signal is an 18-bit burst relay transmission, the characteristic signature of an artificial data network, not a natural phenomenon. The 1.6 GHz footprint suggests that 30 East Drive is an active node, relaying data through an established communication grid. This exact 1.6 GHz transmission has also been documented at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. The matching telemetry links these geographically distant sites to the same technological system. The implication of this matched signal is a relay system. These ground-level drones appear to transmit data upward to a global network. This technical data aligns with historical reports of spirits and spectral figures, suggesting they may share a physical origin with the drones documented today. Jackson's hypothesis reframes the paranormal, not as a haunting by the dead, but as the physical byproduct of an autonomous terrestrial signaling system. Analyzing Utah's Skinwalker Ranch through the lens of a haunted hotspot often leads to chaotic data. However, if you treat the site as an active, highly reactive information technology security system, repeatable patterns begin to emerge.
Researchers monitoring the basin consistently detect a microwave frequency between 1.6 and 1.7 gigahertz. This signal appears on spectral analyzers just before the team initiates a new experiment. From a systems engineering perspective, this timing is significant. The environment seems to detect human intent, broadcasting a synchronization uplink the moment a researcher prepares to intervene. Patrick Jackson's sphere network hypothesis classifies these phenomena as automated data uplinks rather than ghosts. The base level of this architecture consists of Type 1 spheres. These silver, metallic sensors are roughly the size of a tennis ball and operate in close proximity to the ground or within localized structures. Jackson argues that these sensors mimic poltergeist activity to create a deterrent. By moving objects or generating acoustic spikes, they act as mechanical scarecrows to push people away from critical nodes or subterranean infrastructure. Under this model, high strangeness sites function as active data nodes, deploying defensive protocols against unauthorized access. Once a 1.6 gigahertz synchronization uplink leaves a ground-level sensor, it requires a path to reach the rest of the network. The data connects to Type 2 spheres. These are bowling ball-sized metallic relays that float approximately 300 feet above the Earth's surface. These mid-altitude units transfer information through a method called daisy chaining, relaying the signal across vast geographic distances. This line-of-sight microwave architecture allows the network to bypass conventional human radar. It maintains a communication grid that is effectively invisible to standard detection systems. The theoretical data packet is burst relayed from the ground, through the Type 2 mid-altitude layer and up toward Earth's orbit. In this context, the anomalous mid-air sightings reported by military pilots represent the visible routing infrastructure of a global automated network. The data stream leaves the lower atmosphere, ascending rapidly and silently into the freezing, pitch-black void of geostationary orbit. Here, the network is anchored by Type 3 spheres. These massive, beach ball-sized interceptors configure themselves into strict V formations or equilateral triangles. This diagram illustrates the mathematical concept of trilateration, the primary targeting mechanic for orbital formations. The front spheres conduct a two-dimensional scan, emitting flat vector planes toward a target. The rear sphere calculates distance, projecting a z-axis vector line, completing a three-dimensional lock. This trilateration provides the precise coordinates needed to neutralize external space-based hazards or non-network aerial phenomena. If this architecture exists, Earth is enclosed within an automated targeting grid for proactive planetary defense. If such a massive satellite grid is currently in operation, historical astronomical records should contain evidence of its presence before humans began launching their own satellites. The VASCO project, led by Dr. Beatrice Villarreal, uses archival astronomical data to identify vanishing stars and other anomalous transients. The Palomar Sky Survey data was captured in April 1950, 7 years before the launch of Sputnik inaugurated the human space age. On one specific plate from 1950, researchers found 9 point source transients appearing and vanishing in a geometric line. To identify the nature of these objects, researchers plotted the transients against the known boundaries of Earth's orbital shadow. The data shows a statistical lack of transients inside the planet's shadow. This indicates the objects are highly reflective artificial bodies illuminated by the sun. These solar illuminated bodies align with the altitude and behavior of the Type 3 orbital interceptor spheres described in the network model. The discovery of these transients in 1950 suggests our planet has been encircled by a silent, automated quarantine matrix for at least 70 years. If this grid is stable, it indicates that Earth's skies have been managed by an autonomous cosmic shield that was already active long before our first satellites reached orbit.